The Derrick Jaxn infidelity story is being picked up by media outlets all over the world. Why? Because Mr. Jaxn broke the 11th commandment, thou shalt not get caught. While men focus on the cheating, the women are focusing on the head covering worn by his wife, Phoebe. Why am I calling her Phoebe? You'll find out right here on the Sirwalterj Show.
Bass.
It's the show that will get you thinking, and where the topics are hot. Feel free to comment whether we agree or not, 'cause he's got something to say. Sirwalterj Jones. Sirwalterj Jones. He's got something to say. Sirwalterj Jones. Sirwalterj Jones Show.
Come on in. The water's fine.
Welcome to the Sirwalterj Show. It's a show to believers in Jesus Christ all over the world about the world in which we all live in today. Now, if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and smash that like button and hit the bell notification when you subscribe so that you can help me share the gospel all over the world. Derrick Jaxn, one of YouTube's suave, debonair, and handsome gurus, replete with his snug-fitting, body-contouring muscle shirts, can be seen all across social media, sprouting off relationship and marital advice. Now, his signature brand of advocating for women and shaking his fist at black men for their foolish behavior in the treatment of their women came across a snag this past week, a snag which morphed into a rip, which was compounded by the spread of his truth, which has resulted in him being triaged. See, because triage in the treatment of wound care speaks to its urgency. This saga caught me by surprise, not because of the salaciousness of his adultery or him having cheated on his wife. No, that wasn't it. I have witnessed down through the years that many men who preach against a sin or a crime is often caught on receipts, committing that same sin or crime. I received a video from quite a few people seeking my opinion on Derrick's conundrum and was surprisingly intrigued by his self-appointed love ambassador's approach to the muck in which he is now wading in. See, in 2017, Kevin Spacey was the topic of conversation after actor Anthony Rapp came forward with accusations of sexual assault from House of Cards, 1986. Rapp was a minor then. Now, October 29 of that year, Kevin Spacey sends a 2-paragraph tweet in where he kind of apologized to Rapp, and at the end of the tweet, he writes, I have loved and had romantic encounters with men throughout my life, and I choose now to live as a gay man. I want to deal with this honestly and openly, and that starts with examining my own behavior. Well, comedian and actress Wanda Sykes responded in her own tweet, No. You do not get to choose to hide under the rainbow. Kick rocks. Rachel Dolezal impersonated a black woman while walking around in whiteface. Kevin Spacey tried to hide in Boys Town while playing a straight man on TV. Derrick Jaxn did a video response to the accusations of infidelity with another woman in where he too tried to hide. Where? Under the cross. Just like Kevin's house of cards fell, Derrick's house was built with straw, and the big bad wolf was making her rounds all around the popular vloggers' programs to huff and puff and blow it down. Usually after we have gambled our chips away, we run to God for a bailout. for he's usually our last resort, and his name is always invoked in our public apologies. Surely that was going to be it, right? We were going to hear the last of that, right? Nope, that wasn't it. The timeline of scandalous video drops were rushing in my DM faster than a poor man opening a stimulus check. Paid to the order of Sirwalterj. I couldn't keep up. It wasn't until a couple days ago when he and his wife, Danae, appeared together in solidarity before his followers, friends, bloodthirsties as he called them, that I was able to conceptualize what many women had missed. Now, this spare of the moment video was bludgeoningly executed before the public prior to the discovery of yet another anonymous female who just recently came forth after seeing him and his wife's claim of him having changed his ways. This alleged mistress claims that she was involved with Jaxn during his reform period and accuses him of being a narcissistic abuser of women. She went on to state that she conceived a child by him during their affair and terminated the pregnancy, trumping his disapproval. Now, her scathing accounts of his physical abuse of her, his overly critical tirades regarding her appearance, and his overall aggressiveness and mistreatment of women, in general, added kindle to the fire and was a visual stark contrast from the man holding his wife in a kung fu grip on the couch before us. Derrick Jaxn's calm, slow-paced verbiage and soothing tone was almost hypnotic as he sat doting upon his wife. And as they read the comments coming in from social media, he jumped to his wife's defense regarding her appearance when her wool cap was being mocked around the world as a bonnet, stating,
they thought your hat was a bonnet.
It's a bonnet? I don't think this is a bonnet.
I think it's beautiful personally.
In his attempt to stop the hemorrhaging from the lifeline of both his marriage and his career, Jaxn took to Facebook to put a Band-Aid on it and stop the bleeding. This particular bleed was coming from none other than his ex-mistress, Candice Demetros, who decided to end him by alleging to blogger Tasha K that she had an affair with him. And in her ousting of this relationship expert, she called his hand, his bluff, and issued him the ultimate checkmate. Candice proclaimed that Jaxn told her that the couple, who had been married over 4 years, were separated. She detailed how he lavished her with fine dining, money, and she even produced to the public the receipts of their weekend getaway to Miami last year in June. The getaway in which Jaxn afterwards brought her to Atlanta to stay in the home that he shared with the wife and kids, while his wife was visiting the parents in Colorado. Now, I will spare you the nuts and the bolts of their salaciousness, and I will even spare you the details of his efforts in damage control, because, again, that was not it for me. The it factor for me was the gold that lie within the comment section of these videos, and I couldn't help but to focus in on the women's responses. It wasn't their shock in the revelation that he cheated, which piqued my attention as much as it was a focus upon the appearance of his wife, Danae Jaxn. Danae Jaxn appeared next to Derrick completely stoic and mesmerizing, and many of the comments, which I read, implored her to blink 3 times if she needed help, and alluded in jest to her Stockholm Syndrome-like appearance, her plain skin, wrinkled clothes, and the wool knit cap that she conveniently pulled over her years. Those were the things that caught the attention of the women. But instinctively, I knew that was Derrick Jaxn's Girl C. And that was the it for me. I recognized the face, the demureness, and her warmth, while I listened to her carefully placed, overly religious-infused words, which took on a gracious, rhythmic, droning pattern. My opinion was solidified as she told the world that she was not going anywhere and that she supported her husband. Yep, Danae Jaxn was his girl C, his Phoebe, and Derrick Jaxn had definitely gone back home. And while the women across the world were focused and preoccupied with her clothing, lack of makeup, and her general appearance, my mind focused upon the work I did in my own book. The 4 Women That Men Desire. Oh, not another book. Yes, another book. It's a 7-book series entitled Men's Chronicles, A Woman's Guide to Men. In this book, I named 4 women. Girl A, Lola, the Lady of Sorrow. Girl B, Bella, means beautiful. Girl C, Phoebe, who is shining and pure. And Girl D, Lilith, of the night.
Girl A. Sex is her superpower. This woman got skills, but adds no value to him. Girl B. Her brains and beauty is her birthright. She's his eye candy and his arm piece. Girl C. She's his mama, his teacher, his better half, his soulmate, and the apple of his eye. Girl D. She's dangerously desperate. She's his thin line between love and hate, and his fatal attraction. All that and more in the 7-volume book series, The Men's Chronicles, A Woman's Guide to Men by Sirwalterj. Volume 1 is entitled The 4 Women That Men Desire. Go to Amazon.com today for your copy.
Ladies, there's only 4 women that men desire to be with. Just 4. And although Mrs. Jackson's legal name might be Danae, who she really is Phoebe. I would like to focus on her today. My book is not about women. It's about men and how he chooses his women. That's right, ladies. I offer you a VIP seating in the brain of your man and why he chooses you. You see, Girl C, or Phoebe, is his soulmate. She is the woman that he cannot live without because he knows that his life would not be the same without her. She is the woman that he would be willing to give up everything for and always run back to because she is his difference maker. Her requirements are simply for him because she is by nature nurturing. She remembers his words. She edifies him, and she is rock solid. He trusts her with all that he has, and she totally cares about his well-being. He doesn't see her as others see her because his desire for her is beyond physical, and he has a true unconditional connection with her. But Girl C is no shrinking violet or a sexually repressed woman with a low libido either. The ease of her sexual chemistry with her partner, her sensual, relaxed, good girl, homebody appeal has always been a part of her draw. Yeah, she's the farmer's daughter, y'all. Where many women wear their sexuality up front and blatant, Phoebe carries hers comfortably in her back pocket. And I think many were reminded of that subtle fact when during one of their interviews, Danae dropped the F-bomb when replying to her husband and what he had taken her through, reminding both him and the world that she was not asleep and that she was very much aware and cognizant of the fact that she had to live with that beep. Her faux pas in speech and her organic slapback spoke volumes regarding their one-on-one intimacy. A comfortable intimacy which said, "No, Negro, you were out screwing, and I had to see that mess." That transparency was not a fake side or an oops moment. It was simply transparency caught on camera, and most of you misinterpreted it. Ladies, grab a seat right quick. You might want to rewind this video back to this part because I'm about to visit many of your homes and what I'm about to say next. In this day and time, when physical beauty, voluptuousness, thick thighs, and rampant behinds run amok in our society, we get sidetracked by the extravaganza of it all. Our desires and the external inferences that we place on others have taken a cartoonish caricature of themselves. Unfortunately, the rage towards solidarity at the thought of a man cheating on his wife seems to send out a siren call for membership to all women. They will size up the mistress and they will size up the wife presumptuously. Their contrast of the attributes and the appearances of a girl B-type mistress against what they might perceive to be a docile wife have played out to be both unfair and ridiculous. A man could have the most beautiful wife in the world, Vanessa Bryant, Halle Berry, and that man will still cheat. It is not until women can digest that truth that a forward progression will begin. Now, maybe the truth lies somewhere outside of the hair weaves, fake fingernails, eyelash, breast implants, and butt implants. Maybe, in fact, for once, women will call a spade and unburden themselves with truth. A freeing type of truth, one which releases them from the chains of I wasn't pretty enough, good enough, or sexy enough, and even the judgment of look at her, I see why he cheated on her type of reaction, which played out in the comments section of this saga. Notwithstanding, there's a side of Danae who wants to dress sexy for Derrick, even when it makes her uncomfortable. She thinks this is what he desires, but I can only imagine how many times she must have fallen down a flight of stairs because she was trying to wear her 6-inch heels. You see, Phoebe will do all she can to please her man in bed. Now, my followers know me to be a very transparent man, and so here's one for you who are new to my channel. Go ahead and subscribe. I was a frequent watcher of pornography from my teenage years up until I got engaged, and then I went cold turkey. I shut it all down. When I got married, I had forgot that I had some porn flicks still on my laptop. One day my wife was using my computer and stumbled upon them and was furious at me. Now, after explaining to her how I broke free of that bad habit prior to our marriage, we prayed, and later that night we were in bed doing grown folk stuff. Now, the strangest thing happened. My wife began to say words during the act that was beyond her character. She was calling me out of my name and using street language and requesting wild positions that was out of our sexual norm. And so, right in the middle of the act, I stopped her and said, "Who are you? This is not the woman I want in my bed." You see, she transformed into this video vixen in who she imagined me enjoying on that laptop, thinking that this is what I desired in my wife. But I had to convince her that I'm not interested in a mistress. My stance is not to make the girls C's of this world throw in their cards and try to reverse their innate traits, sensibilities, and personalities. But it is only to state the simplicity of a man. And that simplicity is that if he is a broken man, familiarity will always breed contempt. Even the best of children, when reared in the most nurturing, affluent, and prosperous of homes, will still sneak out into the muck and the mob. It speaks to his brokenness, not hers. And to every woman that has built a fine home and has been in the cheated end of the spectrum, she will prove by the evidence of its remaining frame that she held her house down, held her marriage down. He still cheated, but the power is hers to accept him back. It's hers. Because real men who have found the one whom their soul loves will always want to come back home, because home is where his heart is, his spirit is nurtured, and he finds food for his soul. Derrick Jaxn chased after God and then ran back into the waiting arms of his Phoebe. Why? Because he believes in his heart that they both will always be there for him. Those are the two places where he feels loved the most. But in reality, It's hard out here for a pimp.
Gentlemen, you need to get this book. I'm telling you, it will change your mind on how you see things about women and about things that men desires in a woman.
And it's really interesting to me because I can identify myself in different areas of the book, not even realizing this is how men look at me.
That I could have ended up being girl A because I grew up in the church, a very sheltered life, and when I went to college, I got buck wild, and so I really could have been girl A. But thank God for a renewed mind, like he talks about in chapter 7, and so now I consider myself like a girl C.
Every chapter drew me in more and more because of course I wanted to know about these different types of women. But in particular, something that caught my eye also was the birthing order. And it talked about the different orders in which we are born. Firstborn, the middle child, and the youngest. I happen to be the youngest.
I'm Cindy from Dallas. I picked up this book and I cannot put it down. I could recommend this book to anyone by Sirwalterj.
Hi, it's Sonia. I was waiting for him to say my name.
The one and only.
Yeah.
Right here, AM 1390.
Yeah, he has a new book. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Can y'all see it?
Y'all
All right.
see it? There it is.
Keep listening and watching. Bye-bye.
Hey, get the book. You'll be hooked. Hey, you all. You got to get this book. It's righteous.